Yeah.
Get a little like backgrounding on you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let me know when cameras are rolling.
Camera rolling.
All right.
This is the main one.
That's the main one. Ooh,
How many cameras do you?
That's a wide lens.
3.
Ooh.
Cal, are you gonna be able to get in this or what?
No.
You want us to move over?
I got one. So one me and Jeremy. One of Nick and
Micah.
Mike. Sorry.
Fair enough.
And then one of all of us. I can't do. I haven't ate at all today. Okay. Fuck off. I'm intermittent fasting for 16 days.
All right. What is up, guys? It's episode kind of 4.
3.5.
Nick fucked up. And
full disclosure,
it's always me.
Nick fucked up big time. We shot a badass episode last week about aliens.
It's on its way. It's gonna
and
be here by next year.
Right on cue, the CIA fucked it. They took the footage.
They did not
As
want
per
us
usual.
to produce it.
But anyways, so this is gonna be we're gonna have a bunch of different kinds of episodes going on. This is the first one that we had in mind. It might be like a little less funny, but it's kind of like a fitness roundtable. So we brought together the heavy hitters of the local fitness scene. So we put together a team of Calvin Unidom on the far side.
You butchered my last name, but okay.
Did I?
Utah Tom.
Yeah.
What he said.
It's no,
okay.
No, it's okay.
That's okay.
No. Let's
I
get it
only
right.
got bullied.
Calvin
in high
Y.
school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Calvin Y. worked too.
Calvin Y. Calvin and Hobbs.
Utah Tom.
Hence why we're not in a
It's pretty
car
easy.
today, where we've actually got some production
Dude, I felt
value.
like if we were in a car, we'd all be sweating. Just like
It would have been badass. Don't.
You would have been like on the dashboard like this.
No, here's what I want. I want you guys to vote. Would it have been sick if we were all packed out in the car?
No.
And just like, and someone's in the backseat be like, just pointing out, it's like, hey, I got something to say.
Could
I
you
got something to say.
imagine? Could you imagine?
Calvin's
Five
flying
guys
from
in
the
the
trunk.
car, all steamy, and we're all
Guys, this
someone walks by. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
the energy
We call it a soup kitchen.
the energy we have here and how excited we are about this, everyone's gonna vote for that whether they want to see it or not.
This
We're just
is
gonna be
true.
uncomfortable. It's not gonna be fun. Let's stay on this nice comfy couch.
Fuck that. The car would have been badass. Back
fuck
me
yeah.
up.
Somebody gets the trunk. That's nice.
All right, so we got a few topics in mind. I did think it would be more of a debate, but honestly, after talking to these fine young gentlemen, we're kind of on the same page. So we're gonna talk start out with basically like everybody's fitness journey, where everybody comes from, what we've gotten into. Apparently, these guys took like edibles or something.
No.
Jeremy, you got the giggles.
You introduced me and then
Nobody else.
Yeah, no one else matters.
Okay,
Turn it back to you.
I fucked that up. So we've also got Jeremy Longprey here, baseball player / natural bodybuilder / general beast. I don't know him that well, but he seems smart, so I just DM'd him and said, "Hey, bro."
He's wearing
come on,
glasses, so that means that he's the smartest out of everybody here.
That's what I thought. And then Taylor something. We got Nicholas, young Nicholas, as always, and we actually do have Taylor Hinton, young success story.
More than you.
Are you,
A little bit. 1 year. But it's okay. We're all young.
Dad? Father. No. Okay. Yeah. So I think we'll probably just start out going around. My story's not super interesting. I was a fat ginger kid, got into bodybuilding, lifted heavy shit. Used to play baseball a little bit, wasn't very good. Used to play soccer a little bit, was worse. Not built for it, so got into bodybuilding. Started going to school for biology, kinesiology, learned a bit more about that, started coaching people, and the rest is history. So, just kind of go through our credentials so that when I destroy you guys in arguments, everyone knows I'm smarter than you, and to
I
side
knew
with
that's
me.
what this was.
So, you guys are all fucking stupid. It's not. Just remember that when I fucking
Bow down to our king.
you're not wrong because I hate you. I hate you because you're wrong. So then just okay.
You have different colored socks, you fucking loser. You fat ginger piece of shit. Fuck.
Yeah,
Thought you were gonna roast us? God, what's
Talk
patchy
all
shit?
my money.
What is this? That just got.
God.
Wait,
you gotta get on my level, right? This is how
What
you get
the
the white girl
fuck?
right here.
He's 3
I don't
weeks
think
due
anybody
for a
has cool
haircut.
socks like that though.
On a
You guys can't
I
fucking
get
socks,
fucking
okay?
Walmart.
I don't know if I can recover from this.
That's a
Nick, you
crippling
take
blow.
over.
That's a crippling blow. I can't even compete with the
So,
with Taylor's
guys,
fucking
this is
sass.
Taylor's podcast. And,
We're just handing the reins over to Taylor. He's gonna take over from now on.
I'm sorry. Do you want to continue?
No, let's continue here.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know, Taylor. Where do we go? You're the one with the matching socks, the fancy grinder account. What the fuck do we do here, Taylor? You got all the fucking...
You got all the say today.
All right. Are you done? Can I talk?
For now, yeah.
All right. Where were we?
Kinesiologist or whatever the fuck.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing some credential talking.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
done with that. My credentials are... I just like to stretch it out so it seems more impressive than it is.
That's okay.
But, yeah. Taylor, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Me. My name's Taylor. I don't know. My fitness journey, I got started when I was 6 years old playing football. And did okay here and there. And played for Team BC a year and then junior football for a year and a half. And then herniated a disc. Started bodybuilding
There
for
it
a couple
is.
years.
There it is.
Yeah, that was that's my excuse why I didn't make it in football.
You're that guy.
Yeah, straight up herniated a disc. It really did happen, and it really did end football for me. So fuck you, Micah.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, and so then there was like a year and a half of recovery and hatred for myself and the world, and then got into bodybuilding for like a couple of years. It was great, had a lot of fun. Wasn't super passionate about it, but respect it and had like a great time. Learned a lot about myself. And then now currently I just like switched over to doing some CrossFit. So I've been doing that for 2 months or so now. It's a huge change. You lose a lot of vascularity and a lot of size and boluseness. Masculinity and
friends.
you increase
general
endurance.
respect.
Joint
and
cartilage.
If
There's a lot of that too.
if there's anything
Dick
that
length.
comes down to aside from like the general physical appearance and how you look, I normally would trump most people, I believe. If we're talking about general fitness. So that's my piece.
I didn't even hear it. Did he just roast me?
Guys, this is just gonna turn into a big shit fest if we
This-
do this. I'm sorry.
I don't know what he roasted me about. Did he say I'm ugly?
Hopefully you can just
That's
cut
like
out
the-
and say all the
the
good things
beginning
that I
of
said,
things.
but
I'm gonna keep all of it, dude. Fuck it.
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say about me. I played football for a long time, and then I went to bodybuilding, went to CrossFit. I'm certified in precision nutrition coaching, so like health, general life fitness coach. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also a part-time model.
Nope.
Private shows.
This is
Shut up.
all lies.
Victoria's Secret.
Moving on to Jeremy Longpray. Let's hear a little bit about your backstory.
I have the same story as Taylor in the way I used to be an athlete, baseball. I played 2 years of college baseball, played really high-level high school baseball. Same thing, injury my first year of college, tore my meniscus, got surgery. It happened a week before season, so, and then I got surgery a month after that. Came back for my second year. And I just kind of lost the passion for the game. It was more of just like my biggest thing was when it started feeling like a job. That's when I knew I had to stop. It just like you just didn't love it. You didn't have a passion for it. It's like if you don't like what you're doing when you're training, same kind of thing. You can change it up, right? There's always something to change. From there, I really liked my strength and conditioning coach. He kind of got me into the passion of being able to actually learn lifting and love lifting. And then from there, I just kind of reached my own goal through nutrition, weightlifting, stuff like that. And then, now what I do is I manage a few departments at a gym in Mission. It's called the Fitness Lab. It's more group fitness training, personal training, supplements, nutrition advising, kind of stuff like that. So I do all that. Youth camps as well, whole bunch of stuff. So I do that and run my own business online as well. Just do kind of infographics and stuff like that to give some information to people that in an easier way.
To the people. For the people.
Yeah.
For the people.
You being modest though, how many followers do you have?
7.5K. which is
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's growing.
Cool.
I was
Local
about to hear
legend.
$1 million. I was like,
I was actually
7.5
so
million.
nervous.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll link everybody's Instagram so that you can go and check what everybody's doing out.
That's right.
Calvin, let's
Oh
hear a
my,
little
that
bit
was
of.
disgusting.
Oh, he's
yeah, that was
gearing
gross.
up for
well,
it.
came out
Came out somewhere.
That was such a weird way to start that fucking sentence.
I came
Well,
out.
I came out. The day was
came out of
The day the world stopped turning.
came out of a rice cooker, you know. Then basically I turned into a shithead kid, and then my parents made me do karate for 13 years. So
Oh,
yeah, so did karate. So that was the first thing I did. I did karate for 13 years. Got my black belt. Went to go for a tryout for Team Canada, and then I got fucking concussed super bad. Bedridden for like 2 weeks. So I stopped playing karate. Fighting karate.
Matching?
And then kind of in high school is when I started to do a bunch of sports. I did track and field, played football for 1 year. And then, yeah, kind of that's when I started to play football. That's when I kind of like got introduced to weight room, kind of because, you know, with our coaches, they're always like shoving you in the weight room, and they gave you like a strength conditioning program. And then after that, I didn't really play any sports. I just kind of started working out, and then that's when I think around 2015 I got hired at Popeyes, and that's when everything started to kind of unfold for me. I went to university at UFV for nutrition, just for like a semester. Hated school, never went back to school. Then basically worked for Popeyes for like 4 years. I don't work there anymore. Around like the third year is when I started to pick up on bodybuilding, and then I was introduced to like bodybuilding shows, and that's kind of when everything kind of like blew up for me. And then that's when I competed in 2017, competed once, don't think I'm going to compete again. We don't really know, that's like a iffy kind of thing if I'm going to do it again. But now I just kind of do a lot of content creation, photography, videography, all that kind of stuff. That's why we're sitting here in front of a bunch of cameras.
not in the car.
Quality. More money than any of us are currently worth.
Well, I mean,
Or
so.
Alright.
I like spend all my money on camera stuff, so it basically makes me broke at the
Yeah.
end of the day. But yeah, still work out like as much as I can. Trying to get back into actually Olympic lifting, because that shit was fun as hell.
Super functional.
Really functional,
Yeah.
and I just find it more impressive to take a barbell from a
Sounded
deadlift.
like a shot, but okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, buddy. You're bigger than all of us.
put
Thanks.
together. It would take all of us
He's
to
a
kick your ass.
I've got a black belt in McDonald's. I don't know.
Out of all of us, who's actually gonna like compete again? Because it's us. Like, well, I know you're not competing.
In
ever.
bodybuilding?
Yeah, in bodybuilding.
Never?
Cool.
I don't know.
Are
Like,
you
I've
thinking
never competed.
I have no plans of doing one anytime soon or in the future at all, but
You get to
I'm
be
open to
CrossFit?
whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
You animal.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember
I
when you
know.
told me about CrossFit, you were so self-conscious. You were like, this guy's gonna fuck
Straight
me.
up. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Dude, I respect
it's gonna be
it
into
like a lot, man. A lot of people get super weird.
It's because of like the way that it started and the way that like everyone, the way that society got introduced to CrossFit was like a very, very poor description. Well, like a poor representation.
You can
of
say
it.
that about any sport though. Like bodybuilding still has such a bad stigma to it too.
For sure.
Whenever you talk to someone about bodybuilding, like, oh, fucking drugs, steroids, fucking shit like that, right? CrossFit, I think they obviously what's known about it is like fucking like, you know, breaking your back and shit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
all these
Because
Because
hilarious
that's the
YouTube videos.
public stuff.
Yeah.
Is the memes and the
Yeah.
Well, social
idiots
media
that are fucking themselves
social
up.
media always has to put something bad on something.
That's
Right.
yeah.
It's way
100%.
easier
Yeah.
to just cap something up as
Yeah.
like, oh, bodybuilder's just like some guy in a stringer who
Yeah.
carries a chicken around with
It's
a 4-liter jug, and like
yeah.
people get really weird about like when they're just friends ask me for opinions on like diet and how to get in shape, or like my mom or like my mom's friends, or like everybody gets super defensive of like, whoa, I don't want to turn into you. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want and they're just like, I don't want to get too big or whatever it is, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
You couldn't get too big.
yeah, I have good news and I have bad news, and the good news is you can't, and the bad news is you can't. Like
Yeah.
no one woke up, looked in the mirror, was like, oh fuck, I'm jacked, damn it! Like that's never gonna happen. It's like it's not like you sneeze and get a 6-pack, you fucking idiot, you ignorant fuck. Like you don't just sneeze your way into like 5-plate squats, you fucking whatever. but that's fine. It's just like they think that, like, any time that you're I think that I think all these sports are really respectable, because anytime where you're doing a sport, whether it's powerlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit, honestly, I love like regular athletes, like basketball athletes, baseball athletes that take training seriously, that treat it like LeBron. I think one of the huge reasons why LeBron is so successful is he treats basketball like it's bodybuilding. He's 24 hours a day. Now this year was a little different. He's showing up at games with wine and shit like that. But like he's historically been the workhorse that like doesn't take time off, takes care of his body, treats this stuff like you're not like. I have a story, like a friend of a friend met Allen Iverson. Like he met Allen Iverson in the strip club at 5 a.m. It was the day before a noon game in the finals where Iverson dropped like 56 points. It's like, I saw you in the strip club at 5 a.m. Hey, maybe that helps you. Maybe like that helps you relax to play. But like you're not actually taking this as seriously as like LeBron, right? So I respect any athlete that does that.
I think a lot of those athletes, though, because they're getting paid so much, they're kind of just like, all right, I got this fucking $10 million contract, now I can just chill out.
And there's way more talent with those. There's way more not just innate talent with those sports. Like I could have so much talent in bodybuilding, it'll never be realized without work. And AI like obviously works. Of course these basketball players work. But like bodybuilding will never be realized unless you have like a 6-month chunk of like every single waking moment went towards that sport. I'm not sure AI ever had that, where he like, I'm not sure like these basketball players have like, I could be wrong, but like, they still go out on the weekends. They didn't have a 6-month chunk where they like fully like every meal, every step, like
most of them
they
don't.
took naps specifically for this. I don't think that's necessary.
I don't think that any like big sport that everybody loves is like that.
It's different.
And there's some freaks who are like that. So you get LeBron James in basketball.
Yeah.
You get guys like Tom Brady in football.
Exactly.
Like he's taking care of all of that shit. He's got a physical therapist for this and that. And like, not that I've ever looked this up or actually know this for a fact, but like, dude's fucking like what 45 or something close to that.
He's 42.
And he's like aging like wine. Like he's getting better every year.
Yeah.
Like statistically, his numbers are improving.
Yeah.
So that's
because you don't lose the hard work and the consistency part of the equation, right? It's like if you keep that and you apply it with the skill that you have to whatever fucking sport it is, you're only gonna get better.
Yeah.
Well, and like age still will like get up to you, right?
Age obviously is gonna be
sure.
your limiting factor, but as long as you're pushing everything else against the grain, so to speak, with time, you're gonna continue to progress up until that point, right?
Yeah.
I think on that topic, this just came to mind right now before I go take a piss real quick and I'll let you guys kind of share your thoughts on this. But like, hey,
what?
You're gonna be lost without me?
Aye.
You're so bored you're on your fucking phone in the middle of the podcast?
I was looking up topics to talk about. Now spit it out, Taylor.
Wow. Let's see, are you
that
sure?
That was a waste of film.
No, like, this just came to mind, like, I don't know how when we were talking about this stuff, but I don't know if you guys also sense this, but I feel like there's a general, like, overwhelming majority of young men, especially, who deny the fact that they don't work as hard as they could for whatever they want. Fitness aside, anything aside.
100%.
Like, there's always excuses. There's always a reason why not, and, like, all these things are happening in their life, or they're not happening in their life, that's making them being less successful. And, like, literally anything that comes out, it's just, like, you filter it through as, like, excuse or reason why you can, and you just keep going back and forth between the two of them.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I don't know.
They're not honest with each other.
I just look at that kind of stuff like objectively every day. Somebody brings something to my attention. It's like you are making a bullshit excuse to not get it done, and that's fine. You don't have to, but like don't lie to yourself.
We had to take a pee break.
We had to take a pee break. We've regrouped. We realized that I am in fact clinically ADHD. So we go off on crazy fucking tangents, and it's my fault. So the reason we got this group of guys together is because I think that everyone kind of has a little bit different aspect of like basic how to get into setting up a diet or different like
what the fuck is a diet really?
yeah so everybody kind of just like our opinions on, I think all of us are guys that get guys coming up to us at the gym or coming up to us at the store, coming up to us in like on Instagram or whatever, and just like, hey bro, like help me get in shape, how do I diet, like and honestly, like Jeremy being super active on social media and like myself and Nick, we've coached athletes to shows and some stuff like that. Like we're gonna have difference of opinion and commonalities between like how we would go about setting up a diet for somebody. So like the prevailing opinion is, I want to like throw this out to you guys of where are you guys on like the whole if it fits your macros thing. So I know like a lot of people on social media, and I find like a lot of people that are just like super new to the gym, they get like, oh, your macros are all that matters. That's literally it. Like as long as you hit your macros for the day, you'll lose weight. It's just simply like be consistent with your macros, you'll go down in weight. Be consistent with your macros, you go up in weight. Like a Pop-Tart is the same as a cup of rice. It's just like your macros. It's easier on your
super relevant with gym bros. Like
I'm sure
like a lot of the
guys
heard
that shit too, because we've all worked at a supplement store. So there'd be so many guys coming like, yo, bro, it's fucking it's so
how do I
sick.
lose
I
my
had like
belly?
6
How do I
fucking
lose
Pop-Tarts,
this?
all my carbs, and I'm just gonna eat fucking vegetable and steak.
For sure.
Yeah. And or like even honestly, I think there's problems with like MyFitnessPal. Like I just want to get your guys' opinion on how flexible are you guys with dieting? What are your kind of thoughts? Because like honestly, I know that there are very smart people preaching the if it fits your macros thing. I know Lane Norton is like the main guy behind it all. Like he's like the poster child. I think Lane's a super smart guy, and honestly, I don't like follow like super closely on anything that he does. But like if he is preaching that macros are the only thing that matters, and like your hormonal environment, your sleep, your digestive quality doesn't matter, then I think he's forgetting very intro physiology. Yeah. It's really easy. Like your body, like burning fat or building muscle has two sides to it, and like hitting your macros is all about building blocks. So it's like building a wall, right? Like you have to physically have the building blocks to rebuild that wall.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously, you need to have the right environment to build that wall. So like, and if I'm wrong, then steroids don't work because steroids change your environment. Your muscle protein is not made out of a steroid molecule. Like testosterone is like, it's like your muscle fiber is a protein. It's not just testosterone molecules. So your testosterone, like it'll manipulate. What I'm saying is like your micronutrients, your hormone, your sleep, your water intake, your timing of nutrients. These all impact your environment. And then, yes, of course you can't build a wall if you don't have bricks. You need the right macronutrients, right? You need to be consistent with that. But like to ignore the whole one side of that and being like, well, I didn't get a chance to eat today, but I got my 3,500 calories in like right before bed, so I'm good, bro. Like you are kidding yourself if you think that's optimal. Like from a digestive standpoint, from a like protein synthesis standpoint of like not breaking up that protein throughout the day. I think that's like
fucking health standpoint.
Yeah,
right? Health standpoint.
Really like that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Really throw everything under that.
Yeah, I mean, like, would you guys agree? Where are you guys on that? How flexible would you be?
I'm really excited to hear what Jeremy has to say on this because he's big on this and he posts like multiple times a day on his. He's like everything about nutrition and like
I love it.
Everything together. So like I would love to hear.
Are you adamant on iifym?
My view on it is.
We are really attacking you right now. If you say the wrong thing, we're gonna fucking beat the shit out of you. And he knows karate.
My biggest thing is when I look at someone and I view at what their goals are, you have to look at their goals first, and you have to look at what experience level they're at, right? Yeah. You can't treat a beginner like you can treat someone who's advanced. It's true, right? The reason being is they haven't even built anything yet at that beginner level, right? Most people don't even know what's in a chicken breast. They don't even know the composition of it. They don't know how many calories it has. They don't even know that it has this amount of protein, whatever the case may be, right? A lot of people what I have found is, I work with a lot of beginners too, right? So like, I don't do a lot of bodybuilding individuals. I haven't really dipped into it because personally I don't know as much as someone else that has experienced it a lot, right? So I think it's really important first to find, if you want to help someone, is find your niche too, what you're good at, what you know you're good at, and what you can do yourself, right? So it's from experience, right? You can help someone with your experience. So when I look at the spectrum of how I'm going to approach someone or how I'm going to be able to actually help them, it's going to be, what is their goal? What can they adhere and to sustain to? Because if I can give them the best diet or the best workout plan, but if they absolutely hate it
or don't even know how to execute it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
They won't understand how to be, like, they won't enjoy, like, it comes down to enjoyment, I think.
Goblet squats, what are those?
Yeah, right? And it's like, and some people, again, they don't know how to do a squat. They don't know the cues for a squat. Like, it's trying to build a foundation for them depending on where their goal is at first. And like I said, some people are just, not that they're not serious, but they're not as serious as like they are going to step on stage in 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? And what, like, if you don't have a timeline to your goal, it's like, I think the biggest thing is people just also, first they don't take responsibility that in a way of the aspect of, like, if they mess up, usually people like to make excuses. That's what I found, and I'm not saying everyone's like that.
It's very like one day mindset.
Yeah, it's
one day I'll lose my fucking gut.
Yeah,
or whatever, right?
Yeah, and people love asking questions because they want, a lot of times they want a quick fix.
Yeah,
they want the answer to the next best thing, right?
They're in a rush to do everything.
What blows my mind is like all of a sudden it feels like work, and they're like surprised.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is hard. Yeah, it's supposed to. That's the fun part. Yeah. You get to wake up in the morning and be like, I did that shit.
Yeah.
You're literally like, this is the thing that people don't understand. Exactly what you're saying, Micah, is that like, yes, when you find out what the secret sauce is to like losing weight and building muscle, it's like, yes, it does require that you are gonna have to make some sacrifices. It's gonna require that you have to take more time out of your day from watching AFE, and go to the gym and work out a little bit here and there.
Jesus Christ, how old are you?
Who's watching AFE right now?
That was like my family thing that we did when I was like,
that was my fucking cassette recorder.
Fuck, man, what was that guy's name?
I don't fucking know. He's going dead now.
Anyways, no, fuck. Yeah, you got to make sacrifices. You got to be able to get there. And what's really happening is like you are actually eating tissue away. You're telling your body that now it's going to eat itself to find resources and energy and make a whole change on itself.
Yeah.
So like it's
going
to require change. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I think too, like, I think it boils down to like not even that it needs to be necessarily a hard thing.
Yeah.
But just not eating like a fucking asshole. Yeah. Like, instead of going out every morning when you get coffee, getting like, 20 sugars and 20 creams and then 2 donuts, like, hey, just get a black fucking coffee and that's it.
So to narrow it down, like what is your iifym?
Honestly, I'm pretty religious with eating instinctively. IIFYM, I think you need to have both sides of the equation. You need to have macros, you need to have micros. If you're not striving for both, then you're missing the entire point of eating food.
It can be a bro diet, but it'll also be a really like good way. Well, I mean, not even a good way. It's just the way you should do things, tracking everything, but tracking more than just fucking carbs, fats.
Yeah. Exactly.
The key is consistency.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, just playing on sustainability and sacrifice. It's also too, again, how many sacrifices are you willing to take, and how far do you want to take your goal?
100.
Right? If you're trying to be below 10% body fat, you're gonna have to make way more sacrifice than somebody that's just trying to maintain 15 to 10. I mean 15 to 20, for example.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're gonna have to make way more sacrifice than that person. And I think that's also when, again, it comes down to that understanding where you actually want to be, right? On that spectrum, right? If it's for example, like, one big thing I like just starting with beginners is making sure that you get some form of fruit or vegetable and a lean protein around each meal, or try to at least, right? Because some people don't even do that, right? Like
most people don't do that.
Yeah, like somebody like usually
carbs, fats, carbs.
Yeah, like usually some people, like the typical breakfast is like cereal or whatever, or like a muffin or a donut or whatever the case may be.
With coffee. So you got like this crazy stimulant with cream and sugar in it, and then you got like a donut or a muffin.
Heavy crash in the afternoon.
Or how about you go for something that's like healthier or smart, like a green check mark on your cereal box, and you have some skim milk with that and a glass of orange juice for breakfast.
Like, it's all about
there's a fucking 50 grams of sugar all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Your skim milk has extra fat or extra sugar because there's no fat in it to replace and make it palatable. And then like your same thing with your processed breakfast cereal is gonna have tons of sugar in it / like high carb anyway. The nutrients have been stripped out of it, and then your concentrated orange juice is literally just fucking.
You get no vitamins.
So
yeah, and it's playing on the whole.
And
thing.
this is like healthy, right? Like this is the healthy shit that people go for.
But then this also plays on to that understanding of what's in your food, right? We're going back to that same thing. Is like people don't have the knowledge. Like they either don't want to. They don't want to like.
Look at the back of the
yeah, they don't want to spend time learning, or they just don't. No, like they have no clue. They've never been taught it, and they don't know where to start, right? Because there's so much out there. There's so much out there. There's like, what's going to be the next best thing, right? There's always fads. Like keto was really popular a couple years. Like
it's big now, man, too.
Yeah, and it's big now. It always comes back. comes back though. It comes back,
but
and
it grew. Yeah,
it goes like
substantially.
huge climbs, and then it kind of dies down again. It maintains huge dive. It's like those people just get on back onto that train, and then that's how a lot of times too that misleading information is out there. Again, I'm not saying there's
especially when like a lot of these fad diets nowadays, like as soon as someone finds out that there's some probability that you could lose fat on it, it instantly becomes
totally for sure.
So that was keto, because
keto's super, and you'll lose weight right away. That's the key.
Yeah,
it's because you flush glycogen, then that water flushes
with
it, and then you lose weight. So it's like, oh, my girlfriend lost like 20 pounds in the first month. It's like, all right, buddy, like she probably looks significantly worse and feels like trash. But like, all right, buddy. Sure, you are right that the weight on the scale went down.
Because from what I understand, one of the reasons why, one of the purposes of keto was for hormonal balance, if I'm correct.
A lot of time, like insulin control and like blood sugar control.
I've seen studies too on children with epilepsy.
Yeah, it's great for that.
Yeah, that as well. And very obese individuals. I've seen studies.
Of course, because of your poor sugar control. It's with the kids, I think that's because their neurons, like you don't have that myelin sheath on the neuron, which is like a fat, and so you're not your nervous system, once it works on I believe it has to do with like crashes in blood sugar with a regular diet, because you're going up and down in blood sugar, can be a trigger for an epileptic attack. But then I did like a very tiny little bit of reading on this.
Yeah, I did.
But I'm pretty sure it has to do with that, where like once you can really shift to something like a fat source for a energy source, your brain really doesn't start freaking out with low blood sugar. So it's all about how your brain.
Stable.
So like so you're when glucose is going up and down, your body's got like, sweet, glucose is high, I can use a lot of glucose for my fast energy source. And then it goes down, your body's like, oh, I don't have any glucose, time to freak out. Let's reach for fat, but we're not going to be effective at using that yet. It's like let's try all kinds of things to try to find a fuel source here, right? And that's a stress response that can like then cause some epileptic attacks and things like that. But in terms of keto, or in terms of very obese people, it's like, that goes to like insulin sensitivity and things like that, probably, I would assume. Because you're not feeding a lot of sugar, you're not spiking insulin regularly.
Okay, on that note then, because there's gonna be a lot of people who listen to this, the 10,000 after this, as soon as we air it.
4 people.
No, but like seriously, a lot of people
us.
like have taken exactly that position where they're like, I'm obese, keto's a good solution.
And then they don't even do it right, and they just like do their head in.
Yeah, and it's like for sure like bacon and eggs every single day all the time.
Yeah.
And then on top of that is like, how do you sustain that forever? Because you want that fucking, cheesecake's high fat, but like, you want like these sugars, whatever, later on. So is keto the answer, or is it more complex carbohydrates and like a more variety diet?
Yeah. A few things that I've soaked in from like what you guys have said is like, don't eat like an asshole. The other thing is like, you kind of said like people don't know, but people aren't fucking stupid. Pizza pop, pizza pop isn't healthy. They know a cupcake's not healthy. Like you're actually like, give your head a shake. Like it's 11 p.m. What are you doing having like a cupcake? What are we doing here? Like
some people really are oblivious to it though. Like I
don't believe
substitutions.
that.
I know that some people are raised. I mean, like obviously,
but it's still their fault.
Obviously, they still know to a degree it's unhealthy, but some people just don't know the severity of it. Like how you were talking about breakfast cereals. Some people literally were just raised on breakfast cereals, and that's all they know. So they think, oh, I'm getting my breakfast.
Multigrain cereals would be better than the shit I used to.
So it's healthy. I mean, I'm not out here eating Pop-Tarts and shit for breakfast. Like that's the way that they would portray it.
On, like, what?
Same with somebody who's eating like a piece of toast and spreading Nutella on it. Some people's parents would have told them like, oh, like hazelnuts are good for you. You're getting vitamins and shit, right? Whereas like, it's not good for you. It's not good to be spreading chocolate sauce all over
But it has hazel in that picture.
Yeah.
So
you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Like
salads too, though.
Yeah.
If you go to a restaurant, most of the
salad,
high fat, like that's a big thing.
That's
a huge.
That shit, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's the added croutons and the Parmesan cheese and
fried chicken.
Yeah, and
fried chicken, crispy chicken.
Yeah, and then the bacon bits. Like it all adds up, and that's what I'm like. What I was trying to refer to is like that knowledge of food. I don't think it's people. I think more people understand that like. The typical like your donuts, your pastries, but there's like little things that you can do like substitutes, like you saying like coffee or for cream or sugar, right? You can do something like an almond milk or something, like an unsweetened almond milk. Maybe just reduce those calories for someone, right?
Yeah.
Again, it really depends. I always go back to like that sustainability adherence thing, because if you absolutely hate what you're doing, you
won't continue with
it
for
and
sure.
this is what Lane argues a lot. He's just like, well, like a restrictive diet leads to like more eating disorders and things like that. And I'm like, well, okay, there's no way that you found that information from a causal study, because it's not exactly ethical to be like, oh, let's put this person on a restrictive diet because my hypothesis is that they're going to get an eating disorder. You would never get approval to do a study like that, ever. So like, he's basically correlating. He's like, oh, of these people doing all these diets, the restrictive diets are the ones that have a high correlation with eating disorders. It's like, okay, but I would argue a lot of people I don't think it's because of the restriction. I think it's because of like most people getting into a diet anyways are getting into it for the wrong reasons. Like you hate yourself, or you're getting ready for a wedding, or you're crash dieting for something. Like let's try to educate people on like what we talked about on our first podcast, which is like, no. If you're out of shape and you hate yourself, don't fix yourself for me. Don't fix yourself for judgment. Like fix yourself because you want to like learn about this shit and you want to fix it. If you're getting into a diet for the wrong reason, it's gonna give you all kinds of mental illnesses, because you start obsessing over what you look like. You start obsessing over this stuff, and that's okay to do as long as you're well aware of the things. Like me as a bodybuilder, I say like on prep, I'm the most self-conscious I'll ever be, because it's like that's my sport. I have to look better in the mirror tomorrow morning than I do tonight, and it's like. But I'm cognizant of like what I'm actually doing to myself, but these people aren't. They're getting into a diet for the wrong reason, and they're like, oh, I'll have the confidence once I'm in shape, or I'll have the friends once I'm in shape, or I'll get the girl once I'm in shape. It's like, this is not going to happen for you. For the sustainability and the teaching people, I agree that people start off not knowing things. So I would rather start them off with a strict diet plan and put something in place for them with the micronutrients in place, meals timed, prioritizing digestion, prioritizing sleep, put them in a better hormonal state so they feel better. Their blood sugar isn't going up and down. Because I think someone who's new, if you teach them right off the bat, it's like, oh, you're going to have you can fit anything. You can fit a Pop-Tart into your diet. It's like, yes, I actually think that's something that should come afterwards, after you know the basics. Because I think that someone new, they're not going to stop themselves after one. And they're like, you just set them up for a lot of failures early on, rather than like, if I give you the diet and you go off of it, you know exactly where you went wrong. It's easy to see because it's not on your diet, okay? And then I just encourage you to ask questions. So I'll put your diet in terms of here's your protein sources, here's your carb sources, here's your fat sources, and I'll have your meals laid out. And then I'll a lot of people, like my mom, when I helped her lose some weight, she's like, I don't take lifestyle clients on very often at all. It's not as, so we're actually opposite ends of the spectrum.
I was going to say, this is an interesting
We're pretty opposite ends of the spectrum, because it doesn't really interest me to try to speak motivation to somebody, because I don't think I'm super good at it. I speak pretty bluntly in terms of my favorite saying is I can lead a horse to water, I can't force you to drink. And also when you turn around and try to make this my fault, I'm not going to be on board with that, because it's not my fault, bro. I told you what to do and you messed it up. So that's okay. I've messed it up too, but I'm going to always push you to be better. And it's more of it's a little harsher, right? But when I took my mom on, I forget where this is going, but I gave her the meal plan. I don't really do the if it fits your macros thing, and so she slowly learned. I also told, this is the point I want to make. I'm like, Mom, you eat cheese on toast just regularly, or you put crazy salt on everything. Your sugars are a mess. You'll have cupcakes before bed or whatever. And I was like, Mom, how much do you like just a regular Domino's pizza? And she's like, whatever. It's kind of average. I'm like, I'll give you the gift back of fucking loving that shit. You know why? Because I'm gonna have you eating super strict throughout the week, and then you're gonna have Saturday nights, and it's gonna be a great time. You're gonna go with your friends, right? You can give that gift back. Now I understand that some people. What I'm saying is I get it. Some people want to treat every day, but those people a lot of time turn around. They look at me and they're like, oh, you're just restricting yourself for the sake of restriction. You could have a treat every day. I'm like, I wouldn't. I'd rather have my just Saturday night. Mm-hmm. I'd rather know exactly what I'm doing for 6 days a week and then have freedom on one night a week.
Because it's goal oriented.
And I know I'm optimizing at that point, because we've already agreed that if you're for pure optimization, things should probably be timed. You should probably have protein sources rich in essential amino acids. You should probably have carbohydrates timed around your training. Probably a good idea. Having healthier fats rather than heavy saturated for trans fats. It's probably a good idea. So for the most part for the week, I want to make sure that I have the peace of mind of being like, I already thought this out, so now it's brainless for the week. Mm-hmm. So like Monday to Friday, I just grab my meals and go. It's brainless. I plan it out on Sunday, but like it's like whatever. Now, so other people are different, right? Like basically we just have a difference of ideologies where you're like, I'd rather teach them what's in their food right away so that they can measure out their food with the...
Because your demographic is much more
beginner.
More beginner and more people that are just trying to make those substitutes.
So let me get it straight. So you like kind of like slowly like teaching your clients.
Yeah.
Whereas you would just kind of like.
Oh no!
Say or get the fuck out.
No. Actually, no.
It goes back to the demographic.
Really. I would just say it's kind of like teaching a kid. It's basically like with parenting. You're like, I'm gonna give this kid freedom right away, and like they're gonna. If they mess up or they put their hand on the stove, it's going to like teach them to not do something. I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to give you a structure and I'm going to teach you why I'm giving you that structure as we go along. And I'm going to like give you strict boundaries right away and then we're going to work backwards.
Yeah.
Eventually, like when you've gotten in shape, we built some muscle, I'm going to be like, see, this is why I timed carbs around your training. Like these are like, I want you to shoot questions at me of like, I want you to tell me why if something's not digesting well. I want you to tell me all this stuff. So, no, I'm definitely not against educating clients. I tell clients basically, my idea is to have you, unless you're a bodybuilding client, like
you should
for a show.
Know,
I'm like, I want you to basically be on with me for 2 years and then like be able to do this yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why you can't do your own lifestyle stuff yourself. Like I don't need to take your money, man. I need to take your money now if like you're gonna like. Take time out of my day, but I don't want you to have to take time out of my day for the next 20 years of your life. Mm-hmm. You know, we just have difference of opinion of how to like necessarily set that up.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees, unless I'm wrong, that like as far as being an athlete or like a bodybuilding competitor, your approach is really the best. You absolutely do need to you need to optimize like when you're timing your protein and your carbs and like having healthy fats and like whatever all these types of things and like being very regimented throughout the week and knowing exactly what you're eating and having all these foods prepped like and eating them in the exact times and you can go on and on and on about it. But would you say like if you were to take on more lifestyle clients who just want to be healthier and more fit, that approach is still a better way long term?
Like would you still stick with that method?
Overall. So we're looking at physique and like quality of life.
There would be like I would put toast in instead of like, which has gluten, which is like kind of inflammatory. Like I don't put toast in like all my bodybuilding clients. Some of them do, but like I would just there would be some more flexibility, but I would not be giving them a free meal or like I just think that I shouldn't be I'm not gonna take someone's money if I'm like, oh, your macros are 350 for the day, 350 carb, 200 protein, 60 fat for the day. Go for it, bro. Mm-hmm. Like that's a Google. Like Google can do that. Mm-hmm. Listen, someone super new needs that guidance. Mm-hmm. But like that's not. If it was a lifestyle client, it would still be a basic outline of their plan. Mm-hmm. Like I have a long questionnaire of like how many feedings do you like to do a day? What does your schedule look like? How many breaks do you get at work?
For sure.
Are we gonna feed you 5 meals in a workout shake, or are we gonna feed you 3 meals in a workout shake because you have like breakfast before work, 1 lunch break, after work, go to the gym, eat. Mm-hmm. Like we can do different amounts of feedings, but it would still be a set plan probably because like you came to me for a custom plan. You came to me to ask you questions and to set things up for you and to optimize things for you.
Right. And that's regardless of like experience and like everything.
What's the benefit of like? I think if I'm just giving them macros, I'm giving them more work to do.
For sure.
Which honestly, I think a more expert person can do. I think a less or a newer person would have a harder time setting that up. If I'm like, oh, here's your macros, bro. It's like, okay, what even like what? Is cereal protein? Like, like I don't know. Like I've heard like the common one that I get a lot is like, oh, peanut butter is a good protein source, right? I'm like, what the.
Nuts apparently.
Eat an entire jar.
Source, claims, right?
I did an infograph on that one actually.
Like 20-25%.
It was like
nuts
it
or
was
protein.
3 ounces of chicken breast is like 120 calories, and like to get the same amount of protein from peanut butter or nuts, it was like 800 calories, like something to get.
And you talk about cost.
And we all know that, but
the other thing is cost, right? And the other thing is, I actually want to talk about because the thing I see a lot is just like with a lot of people that are like strict, if it's your macros, they're reposting like memes that are very simple, and they don't actually like it's actually pretty easy to like counteract. Like people like, oh, you can only absorb 30 grams of protein, whatever, at a time, bro. The rest is gonna turn into fat.
That's because
It's like, well, how does it turn into fat if you don't absorb it? What? If you're absorbing it, then it can't turn. Then it could turn into fat. Like, so what's your argument? Is your argument that you're not absorbing it, and therefore you're excreting some of it, or is your argument that you're absorbing too much and converting some to fat? And I'm not sure you're right on either. I think both. I think it would depend on your digestion, your hormonal and recovery needs.
But
yeah, I think we basically see eye to eye. I see like a lot of people like kind of being on the if it's your macros end of things, like. They kind of like condescend. Like I see Lane Norton, like it's funny. Like dude, I think shit's fun. Like I think memes are funny, but it's just like, I think you repost something that was like people who have already eaten 200 grams of protein taking BCAAs on top, and then like
spraying.
First of all, I don't want to like interpret anything. So what was the more behind that for you? Why was that your opinion?
On a very basic level, because if you are intaking like as much or more protein than you technically need, and let's say 1 gram per pound of body weight, for instance, and somebody who trains 3 to 5 times a week, they train hard for all those kind of metrics for sure. That person will not get a significant benefit from taking BCAAs, if anything at all.
Especially weighing out the cost perspective.
There are a few things in there. So, if they're already getting the protein they need, how do you know that?
Let's say that they're tracking all their the same way that you
200 grams of protein. So there's different theories on that, and there's different research.
Okay, so lean protein sources, lean meat protein
Yeah,
sources.
but again, they say some places will say you need like Canadian Health Code says you only need 60 grams of protein a day roughly. Versus some theory would say like, oh, you need 1 gram. Some would say you need 1.5 grams. So like, the other thing is, how long is it going to take for you to break down a chicken breast and get those amino acids into your system? What if we could basically, if you've been fasted for a while, let's get those amino acids in as fast as possible, right? Let's also say, and you were talking about cost, right? This is the weird one with. Full disclosure, I sell supplements, but like something like an essential amino acid product. People are like, oh, it's so expensive. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 75 cents to get 8 grams of essential amino acids from a chicken breast. It's like a $3 chicken breast. This is a 75-cent serving of essential.
Yeah, but that's not fair because now you're weighing a supplement powder versus real food.
Well, kind of, but you're intaking of complete protein in order to extract the essential amino acids.
So what's better then?
It's not better or worse. It's what's the scenario.
Yeah, and I think
it's a matter of which one's.
I think yours is more like generalized.
Yeah.
Like, for like the vast majority of people that are consuming adequate protein for their body, for their activity level.
And also,
it's overkill. They don't need to be consuming BCAAs.
And here's another scenario. What if you're cutting down, and you need your 8 grams of essential amino acids? You're gonna get that from maybe. I'm not sure exactly the ratios, but let's say there's 8 grams of essential amino acids in 40 grams worth of protein from a chicken breast, okay? That 40 grams of protein is now 160 calories, versus the 8 grams of essentials is only 32 calories, okay? Let's utilize those extra calories for carbohydrates to fuel a workout and perform better while you're cutting, keeping your calories exactly the same, so your performance is better, you stimulate more muscle growth, and you stimulate better recovery and faster metabolism. Let's do that. So you're still getting 8 grams of protein material, but it's exactly the essential amino acids you need, and then you fill the rest of the calories with carbohydrates.
Okay.
Right? Let's talk about something like that.
That sounds amazing. And I would say like for most like high level athletes or like yourself, for instance, absolutely worth taking that plunge and taking that step into doing it.
Yeah.
But for most people, like the vast majority of people, we're like splitting hairs here. And like at what percent now are they gonna be better than they were if they weren't taking that supplement and timing out like when they take it versus when they have the protein shake?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying it's better. I'm also just saying like.
Or optimizing.
I'm basically just pushing back on the cost thing. People are like he was saying, it's the cost of it. It's like a scoop of protein is generally about it's $90 for an isolate. There's 73 servings in an isolate. So what is that? It's $1.10 a serving for 30 grams of protein. That's cheaper than a chicken breast generally. It's gonna be probably a couple bucks for it. Well, what? You get eight chicken breasts in a I guess it's like a very similar price to a chicken breast. But whey protein's got a very high bioavailability. It's really convenient around your workout. It's easy to get a scoop in some water and throw it back. What I'm lobbying for is like I think that when you oversimplify, you're throwing BCAAs on top. It just there's a time and a place for these things, and they can. I think a lot of times with the if it fits your macros thing, you start to say, we've got it all figured out, and what it is your macros, and it matters getting your total protein in, it matters getting a chicken breast in. But it's probably a little bit more nuanced than that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So here's my like personal opinion and like where I fit if it fits your macros into everything.
Yeah.
I think that it's a great way to get started with some things, and like depending on who you're talking to, you mentioned earlier like rice versus a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're talking to, knowing what is in a Pop-Tart and like how many sugar and like how many carbs and fats and stuff is in it is going to be valuable to that person.
Oh yeah.
Versus like
knowledge
for
is definitely
6 Pop-Tarts, right?
100%.
And they go, oh shit, one Pop-Tart has this many calories and I only have this many for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like this gives them a different perspective on how to eat their food. So naturally most people would eat a little bit better for the most part. Having that said, I still wouldn't go for like that's really, really far over on the one side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I think that my general position is that like carbs, fats, protein, they need to fit like whatever your goals are. So you want to gain, you want to lose, sure, okay. And then you have to hit a certain amount of fiber through food only. So you can't take a fiber supplement, but you still need to hit like 50 to 60 grams of fiber per day, depending on who you are. Like
why is that?
Because you need to have proper digestion. Same reason.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you get it from a supplement?
Because it encourages people to eat more vegetables and fruits. So it gives them a reason to actually go in to have those micronutrient type values for their
50 to 60 grams of fiber from fruit and vegetables is like that's pretty high. And you're gonna start getting a caloric
not
from the sugars.
purely. You're not gonna get that purely from vegetables. I have 2 handfuls of frozen vegetables in 2 different meals, and I have frozen berries before bed, and that's like my vitamin. That's my like vegetable and fruit intake. But my fiber intake, and of course like going off of my MyFitnessPal or any other like tracking whatever service app you want to use, is never gonna be very accurate or even remotely accurate. Sometimes depending on what you're tracking. But based off of that, like, and I'm then eating whole foods on top of it, like, I can easily hit 70 grams of fiber regularly if I really wanted to, without overboarding vegetables, without overboarding fruits.
Yeah, but I think the trace calories would start, like, once you're starting a diet, you definitely get, like, some 70 grams of fiber, like, a lot of times, unless you're eating, like, spinach, which has, like, very little sugars in it.
So, yeah, like, 70 would be a very high end.
I think we should keep, like, the kind of preference as, like, a generalized person instead of, like, somebody who's dieting or somebody who's trying to, go for a specific goal. They're just trying to
if we're trying to
live
be
a
like,
healthier lifestyle.
If we're trying to be like a superior athlete or absolutely optimize everything, I said like you fucking have everything in the bag. I don't even want to argue with you about any of that. But like you want to have somebody who is very unhealthy, very unfit, be relatively healthy and fit.
Yeah.
Like I think that we're splitting hairs and we're overcomplicating things a lot of times. So I think that you need to hit a certain amount of fiber through whole foods.
Yeah.
And I think you need to limit your amount of sugar to like, let's say 50 grams of added sugars in your diet. So like all your natural sugars, go for it. That's all free. And then anything added that's like processed foods or you're throwing table salt or table sugar in or whatever, that kind of stuff, limit that to 50 grams. So having those like basic parameters, I think it would make a lot of people very healthy,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is I think that a lot of people, if they're coming from being unhealthy, they're starting up a diet, they may be in a hormonal pretty rough spot. And they might be in a spot where like, they're trying to just lose some weight. They're not trying to be a bodybuilder. They're trying to lose some weight. And all of a sudden, they put put in a macro calculator, and they're like, okay, these are what my macros should be. They do that, and they're like, oh, I don't lose weight. This might be because like their sleep is really bad. They're hormonally in a really rough spot, and they're just like, they chalk it up right away to bad genetics. It's like, well, no, like let's just like get you on a set plan, regulate things, and then a lot of times like you don't have to cut. Like I just see a lot of people, if they're starting out with just macro based, they end up at like really really low calorie diets. They end up like super super low calorie.
For sure.
Because like the internet's told them, oh, you just gotta cut your calories. If you're not losing weight, you just gotta cut your calories. It's just simple. You just gotta cut farther and farther and farther. That's where you end up starving. It's like maybe you just look at like, hold on, maybe you're like, your metabolism's crashed because your caffeine intake's crazy high. You're not sleeping. You're not recovering. So it's not all about. I'm not just talking about bodybuilders. I'm talking about people. I don't really know where that was going, but like. We probably agree. Like, I think there can be some flexibility in dieting for sure.
Yeah. I like using a certain rule.
I think this would be a great time for you to pipe in. Like, Jeremy and I have worked together in the past, and we're like working together right now on his own goals right now too. And not that we're tracking, because we're not tracking food. Yeah. We're just eating properly and slowly cutting away on some things that he had, like not necessarily bad habits, but just like some areas where we could improve on. Yeah. For instance, like he relied heavily on protein bars. So we're cutting that from
it's easy to take.
From like 6 to 7 days a week. It's now 3 days a week. Yeah. And then we're throwing in more vegetables and fruits and stuff like that to help with like satiety. So but yeah, like would you, if we were to go with, and we've definitely thought about this idea and talked about it of going like, okay, let's open up MyFitnessPal again, and you're gonna eat this, this, and this. And then on the weekend, like maybe on Sunday or something, you have more of a free day where you get like refeed yourself or something like that. But what we found is that doing it without like tracking things and just being mindful and being honest with yourself and being honest with, you know, your coach at the end of the week and saying like where you failed and where you didn't has yielded us really good results too.
Yeah, and I think like when it comes down to it, it's like the mental part of it is the hardest. Yeah. One of the hardest. I would say probably the hardest.
It's gonna be hard work anyways.
And it's gonna, when it comes down to it, it's like, I tell people, I'm like, you might be hungry. Yeah. Like, when you're trying to lose fat, you might be hungry. Yeah, it's gonna be uncomfortable. Like, you're gonna you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell people, I'm like, it's gonna come down to it, right? It's not like, yeah, you're gonna want to eat 10 pieces of cheesecake sometimes. Yeah. Right? It's gonna happen. You're gonna want to do 100%. It, but it's like, how strong mentally are you, right? Like how.
No, I totally agree because like. Ever since I stopped competing, obviously I didn't fucking count anything. Yeah. I've been just eating fucking everything under the sun. But like recently in the past 2 months, like it was just a goal of mine. I was like, fuck it, let's just see how fucking heavy Calvin can get. So I got up to 202. That was
for Calvin. That's
fucking heavy.
That's heavy.
That's only like 5'2". So.
Yeah, and like that was at the point where like I bent over, tie my shoes, and I want to throw up. Like it was pretty.
Get that food coming up.
I was fucking strong.
The cheeks were girthy.
I was fucking strong.
Girthy
cheeks. And all of this was without tracking or anything. It was literally just lifestyle training. Keep in mind, also like before I obviously know how to count macros and I compete and shit.
Yeah.
Right? So like, but now like after I felt like a piece of shit, I was just like, all right, I need to lose some fucking weight. So then, all I did was just change like certain things. Like I just basically stopped eating the same amount of volume that I was eating. Yeah. You know, and I just had. I literally what I did was 5 meals and they're all like well balanced. They got a good amount of vegetables, a good amount of protein, probably too much protein because I was shitting a lot, but a good amount of carbs, right? And like kind of back on that topic with like clients and stuff like that, like I feel it is good to kind of like, you know, be blunt and be like give them a strict diet, but you also have to tell them like, yo, like chill. Like this is a lifestyle thing. You need to ease into it, right?
100%.
You want to be able to do it for like depending on like the individual what their goal is. You want to be able to do it for like the long term. You don't want to just have like a crash diet. Yeah. It's got to be something that you could adhere to and apply to your life at all times. So for some people that means, you know, I might have a small piece of milk chocolate every fucking night, but the piece is so small and it doesn't affect their goal in the long term as far as what they've taken out. You know, as far as replacing it with whole foods, good quality foods, right? So
end of the day it comes down to the person, right? Yeah. And like I think with some people, especially when you approach clients, like when you give them like a diet plan and it has like macros and everything, it can be fucking scary for them too, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of one of the things with like that differentiates bodybuilders from like lifestyle clients. So you gotta like listen, like ease into this. This is what you're gonna eat, and I'll explain everything
That's the other thing is like I just think this is probably the last thing we'll talk about because it's getting late. But like in terms of like you get some on your macros, it's like yeah you put it in MyFitnessPal, but MyFitnessPal counts fiber as calories, which is like that's just actually just anatomically wrong. Like it's just not calories. It just doesn't get burned. Like it just like or.
Goes out your butthole the same way it goes in your
that's
mouth.
Right. That's right. And so, and also like
that.
You're like, oh, I was supposed to have 200 grams of protein. So I put my coach got me on this plan where it's like I have rice for 4 meals a day. So I got like, let's put my 6 cups of rice in for the day. Oh, that's 40 grams of protein. Is that 40 of my 200 grams of protein? Like, am I gonna overshoot if I put like 6 ounces of chicken in every meal now? So like the protein from the complete protein from like meat, eggs, yogurt, things like this is very different from the trace amounts of amino acids and protein content from rice or bread or things like that. Like, are you guys tracking, and how would you guys go about that? Like, are you factoring that into clients' programs? Like, you're tracking protein from rice?
I would say, okay, so that's where it gets like complicated. So if you're talking about like, which I've never actually dealt with, but like say like we're talking about a vegan client who's actually like tracking their macros or something like that, that's where it's like you need to, as a coach and like as a client, you both need to be very well on the same page where, okay, flexible here, but at the same time, like, you know that you're getting this amino acid from this vegetable and you're getting this amino acid from this vegetable, so you need to be eating these regularly if you want to have a complete protein at the end of the day. So where am I going with this? Where are we talking about? Oh yeah, trace amounts of protein from anything else aside from like lean protein sources and dairy. No, I guess overall, like if we're gonna simplify things, then no.
Here's another thing. I'm gonna blow your mind because I'm woke. It's really kind of construct. It doesn't even matter if you track it, as long as you did something for a week, and it had a physiological response. Then you taper it based on whatever the physiological response was. Basically, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter if you're tracking that. If you ate 6 cups of rice and then 6 ounces of lean protein for 4 meals a day, and your weight went up, and your goal was for the weight to go up, then you just keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it really doesn't matter if you're tracking that as long as you're being consistent and then consistently cutting. Consistently cut something out. Consistently add some cardio. Consistently add something like that.
That's kind of the approach that we've kind of gone with a lot of times.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's also how you measure their progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how are you measuring their progress? Like, are you doing measurements? Are you doing progress pictures? Are you doing weight on the scale? Because weight on the scale can fluctuate day to day.
Yeah.
Also, too, when you work with a beginner, sometimes they do recomps when they first start out.
100%. Yeah. This is why like people are like, oh, you can't build muscle and cut fast. Like I see it all the time.
Yeah,
I see it all the time, man.
Totally.
And this is where this is why a lot of people will try something, it doesn't work for them. They're like, that guy's on steroids, or that guy's just got better genetics, or that guy. It's like, dude, you tried one thing, man. Yeah. You only tried one thing and it failed. Like, it's so ignorant to say like we know how it works for everyone, and since like this isn't working, that guy's cheating. It's like you're so ignorant, man. Yeah. But like we're on the same page for that. It's basically just like track your progress. If you're progressing, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the weight on scale is. It doesn't matter what the macros from rice you're getting are. It's just like eat the food, see what's happening, and then change it accordingly. Right? This is where like as like a coach we can do that. It's like at a certain point you're not like this is where I'm like, ask questions if you want as to why I'm doing things, but like you don't have to think that much. I can just do it for you, and I can make manipulations because you are progressing. It's like, you're like, my weight didn't go down this week. I'm like, look at the pictures. Like you look so much better.
Yeah.
You like.
The weight scale can really fuck with people's heads.
100%.
When I was on prep, I really fucking looked at it, man.
Yeah.
I did not look at it at all, if anything.
Yeah.
Because my weight would be fucking like the next day I'd be 5 pounds heavier, but I look like way more fucking
tighter, leaner,
fuller, shit like that.
Yeah.
And on the topic of like meal plans, like dude, there's some fucking bodybuilders that don't even count macros.
Yeah, I don't really.
They just weigh out their fucking protein and their rice.
I don't really.
Yeah.
Because they're basing it off of what.
Yeah, I don't think
what the response
honestly,
by the body
my clients'
is,
plans,
right?
I don't even think I do either. I just basically like I'm like protein, 180 grams of chicken. I'm like carb, 1.5 cups of rice. It's like that. It's just like, and I'll basically be like, roughly, I think you're at like 350 grams carbs or whatever.
Yeah.
And for myself too, I'm just like, well, last week I ate this, my weight went up, Now I know that I know that when I sat down and structured the whole plan out, it had everything mapped out of like, all right, we're timing, we're having carbs, we're having rice at this meal because it digests this way, we're having like, we're gonna have salmon before bed, or we're gonna, like this is where like I'm choosing things specifically for a goal. But then once it's set in place, it's so fucking easy. I'm just like, oh, it's all in place. So like,
little shifts in here.
You
and
have
there.
something
little
to
bit of shit.
refer
It's just like
back to
it's
at
just
all
like
times, right?
cut from a cup and a half of rice to a cup of rice.
Yeah.
Super easy.
You can refer back to the drawing board,
Yeah,
so to
so-
speak. Before we wrap up, Jeremy, if you could share a little bit about your experience and your story with tracking your own progress, your diet, as far as, because if a lot of people who don't know Jeremy, you'd look at him now, and if you looked at him back in middle school, high school years, beginning of high school,
Dude, I think
he
we all
was
remember
a
this kid when
different
he
human
fucking
being.
first walked in, he's like, hey guys, I'm just making
like,
me and Taylor would just be like,
Jeremy was a different human being. It looked like Jeremy ate this Jeremy.
I remember hearing DJ Boschman always talking with this kid on the junior cards that just hit fucking bombs. He's like, this kid hits the ball so hard, and DJ's like a character. He's just like, this kid Mambo Jacks, he hits the ball so hard. And I'm just like, and Danny's like, dude, he's like, I remember Danny was always like pitting me against this kid from like that he played AA baseball with. He's like, dude, he's like you, athletic, fat kid. He's like, you guys have to get together, you have to have a race. I don't know who's gonna win, but it's gonna be a battle of the fucking titans. And I was like,
battle of tubbies.
I was like, yeah, I'll do it. In my back of my head, I'm like, I'm never gonna do that. If he beats me, I literally, my only source of pride is gone.
Yeah, from this guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
So I went from 2015. So I started 2015. I remember the day I took my first progress picture.
Nice.
August 17th. It was like 7:30 in the morning. I took this picture and I was like, I fucking hate how I look.
Yeah.
I literally looked at myself and I was like,
You said that to yourself too.
yeah,
right?
I was like I can't do this anymore. Like I just can't look at myself and like be happy with who I was. And like the summers before, I did a lot of partying, like eating out, like all that kind of stuff, right? And
I want to hear stats. How big were you?
240
Oh yeah.
at
How tall?
5'8".
That's maximum. That's exactly where I came from.
That's
242.
crazy.
Yeah. 1 year from 20.
Yeah.
It was 2015 to 2016. I was 70 pounds.
That's sick.
I got to one.
Fuck.
I got to one. It was like one. I remember I was in Brazil when it happened too.
Oh,
I was
so
in
you thought you were a
Bra-
parasite.
I was in Brazil and I was 168.
Yeah.
And and I thought I was still like. It's a mind game.
Yeah.
And that's what I've experienced like
Yeah, what
through
was
it
your
all.
mental like at that
I was like, I'm
stage
so
of
fat.
losing 70 pounds?
I'm like,
right?
I'm still fat.
Yeah.
I was like, I still have fat to lose.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no muscle on me.
Because you're skinny fat.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna look like this guy, and this is exactly like my story, man.
Yeah.
I was in grade 11. It's the exact same thing. I went from 242 at 5'8", 174 right before I went to Africa in grade 11, and it's exactly the same thing. It's just like I remember I was in Africa, and I was like. Exact same thing. I was like in Africa. I'm like going for runs every morning in 45-degree heat because I'm just like I can just outwork anybody.
Yeah.
I had the same experience like that day one. I remember my family's going to the MCC sale. I don't know if you guys have ever like done that. It's like nope. Okay.
Going to what?
The MCC sale over the Trade X.
I know
September.
it. Yeah,
It's like the
no, I know
Mennonite
what it
thing.
is.
With
Oh,
Mennonite
okay.
food. Okay, so like
No.
crazy good food. It's like sorry, this is like
I can't
MBI
really
kid, but like and I remember thinking I was like I had P90X like loaded in my DVD. I'm like, this is day one. I'm like, I already am 180 pounds, and they just don't see it yet. And it's like this. It's like this is weird. This crazy. Like you make the decision, and then later on, that comes with like its benefits or whatever. You lose the weight, but then it's just like, oh, I made the decision long ago. Like I've already been this person mentally for 6 months now. It's like a very similar story, right? Where you get down to this weight, and I remember, I just looked in the mirror like at 170, and I'm like, I'm the most self-conscious I've ever been in my life. Because I'm just like, I don't have the muscle. I don't look the way I thought I would.
It's a mind game.
You thought you'd be like ripped and like you finally uncovered everything.
If I lose
like,
weight, I'm actually jacked underneath all this fat.
because both of us were strong, athletic, chunky kids. It's like, I was like, dude, I'm gonna be jacked. Like I bench I was like, I bench 250. This is like, I'm gonna be absolutely jacked, and I just like hated it.
Was not.
It just wasn't what I thought, right? And then that's where. When you start to learn how to build back up, that's when I knew I was like, this is something I love. Because it's like I can actually manipulate my body. Where you can go up and down, like aggressively.
Yeah, touching on that too. Yeah, like what was your dietary experience from 240 to the in between of losing 70 pounds to now? Like what's been kind of
my mental my mentality with it, it was fucked. Like I got obsessive, 100%.
Yeah, same.
At first year, I got so obsessive with weight loss. I was like, I remember losing. I was like 180. I was losing 3 pounds a week.
Yeah.
A week.
I know.
And I was like, oh, this is not enough. I was like, I gotta do more. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how I didn't like crash and burn at some point. I did obviously at one point, but for how long I did it,
were you being flexible at that point, or were you?
At that point I didn't know, like I was still learning. Right? Yeah. You're still learning about like.
You just knew you were not happy with where you were at and you needed to make a change.
Yeah. And then I did that, and then I came back and I obviously gained some weight. I totally like gave into everything when I was in Brazil. Like everything, I just ate everything in sight. Like it's just that like after that dieting for so long, you're just like, I just want fucking food. Yeah. And you're just like, I just eat everything out there. I got back and still mindset wasn't, obviously it's not 100%. And I remember I'd skip on so much stuff. Yeah. I was anxious. I was anxious to go out with friends. I was anxious to go to family events. I was anxious to do things that made me kind of get off my goal because I was like, I can't do this. It's like if I get off my plan or whatever, I can't enjoy life. And I always saw myself as that one person before. Yeah. It never really got into that mindset, and then slowly just listening to other people. And it's weird, as soon as I started listening to like people that are higher in the industry that talk about mindset, and this is what I like to help people about, is like stop beating yourself up so much too. Yeah. Right? Like, okay, it depends on, are you making these mistakes constantly? Like, are you always going out every night and eating pizza when you know that you should be kind of having that dietary adherence that is set in place? Yeah. Or are you having that one slice of pizza and then you're like, I ate a piece of pizza, I'm going to be 10 pounds of fat the next day. Yeah. Right? And I try to tell people, like, stop beating yourself up in that way, right? Yeah. Like, get right back on track. It's like, you didn't fail. Yeah. I always say, it's like, did you really fail if you quit though? Yeah. Like, it's only when you actually quit
you can only fail if you quit.
Yeah. And again, this
everything else is learning in between.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't compete, right? So I had time.
You got damn good, man.
I had time to make mistakes.
I've been in 3 shows, and do you know how much it hurts my feelings when these guys are like, yeah, you guys are gonna have to drop your pants. I think you might have better legs than you. I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna kill myself.
That's humbling. That's very humbling.
Imagine doing something for 5 years, dedicating everything to it just to find out someone did it by fucking accident.
There is no accident with Jerry's
car. No accident nearest bridge.
Yeah. But yeah, when it came down to it, it was like, holy shit, like, I can't believe I treated myself like that. Yeah. Like, I literally beat myself up every single day, every time I would eat something that was out of my normal plan, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. And I think this is where it comes down to, where being able to help people also too, like, I like more of the mentality coaching in that way too, right? Being there for someone, right? A lot of people are lonely. Yeah. A lot of people just want the time of day.
A lot of time the problem is between their ears. It's literally like, yeah. The problem is not you're not super busy. You're not super, like, it's not that you can't afford this. It's not. It's like you're in this vicious cycle of just like a bad mental state.
Or to be like very blunt, you just don't have like the mental fortitude to do it by yourself. You just can't put pen to paper and actually like move forward.
You're just not there.
You need somebody to hold you accountable and be like, I'm waiting for that phone call tonight, or like I'm waiting for your check-in on Sunday, you know. So like a lot of times that's what it is. Yeah.
And coming down back to it's again coming to something that you can do, right? So it's like, I'm not a person that likes like set meal plans in the way of like, I have to be having this, I have to be having this. But I also can do that because I learned what's in food. So I know what I can do. I know that what 3 ounces chicken breast looks like roughly because I've measured 3 ounces chicken breast before. Oh, yeah. And I've done it hundreds of times. Yeah. Right? So I'm happy that I did that. I'm happy that I don't regret doing anything that I did measuring, and because of all the mental state I got into. I actually appreciate that I learned that so I can be able to do what I do now. Yeah. But at the same time, there is other ways I definitely could have approached it.
Yeah.
But then again, I wouldn't be where I am without it.
Yeah,
so that's my biggest thing is when it came down to it. It's like now I'm sitting 205-ish, so 205, 210.
Yeah.
So I gained back another 35 pounds in the last 2 or 3 years.
Of pure anabolic muscles.
Yeah. Yeah. So
no, dude, you got a good physique.
Seriously, yeah.
So it's just like, and I just say it's just like to the point where again, it's not. You got to do it. How many sacrifices do you want to take?
Yeah.
Like how lean do you want to get? How big do you want to get? Like how many sacrifices are you really like wanting to make to see the progress that you do? Because in the end of it, it's like you're gonna be happy with whatever goal you reach, right? It doesn't. In the end, it doesn't really matter what other people think of how you look if you're happy with who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if it's you're happy with your body and you like maintaining 15. I'm not saying 15% is bad, but I'm just saying like if you want to maintain 15%, look like good, like not shredded, like just happy being a bit lean. You have a family, you have a wife, husband, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like it's that's when it comes down to. It's like if you're happy with who you are and you enjoy what you're doing and you're eating like the foods you can, but while sustaining the results that you've achieved, and like what am I to say like, oh, you have to be 10% or you have to be right? So
exactly.
That's how I see it too as well. It's like you gotta it's that person that wants to do it. It's like you have to be able to one that understand like not everyone has the same goals, and that was really hard for me too. So I was like, what do you mean you don't want to be under 10%, or what do you mean you don't want to be lean? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But it's like that's not everyone's goal.
Exactly.
Right, and that was hard for me to learn too. Like when I first started coaching, that was a big coaching thing that I learned is like I can't compare like what I want to be with how everyone else wants to be.
Yeah, you can't give people their goals, right?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
On that note,
I like it, man.
I've got to get.
We'll,
are you guys wrapping it up?
We'll kind of conclude that one because
I appreciate you guys coming up.
I think we got a lot of really applicable knowledge.
Careful what you ask for, Kyle.
Everybody.
There's gonna be a lot of editing or like whatever, but
Fuck.
Just throw it on.
We'll make a whole feature length film out of this, and
in conclusion, I mean, I thought it was cool. I think we pretty much like for the most part we actually do see eye to eye on a lot of things. It's like if you're I'm just a psychopath that's like
you're a bit of a monster.
Competitive.
Well, on the topic of like diet too, it's so fucking broad, man. Like you could really talk about it for hours.
There's so many specifics and avenues and different branches of what a diet means to people and this and that. But I think at the end of the day, I think it all revolves around mental health and physical health, like just getting the optimal of both and the best of both.
Whether if you're ready to make a huge lifestyle change, because that's what it all comes down to. Especially when it comes to a diet.
So Taylor is getting poopy.
Do we have a?
So
do we want to do a brain teaser before we go?
Out of here.
Can we do the brain teaser before we go?
Can we do the brain teaser before we go? I will.
What the fuck is the brain teaser?
I don't know. We always end like episodes on like a this or that, like a would you rather or something.
Yeah.
Should we end it on the is it gay?
What?
The Black Mirror episode we talked about before.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit!
Okay,
I watched it.
You watched it? You watched episode 1?
I watched it. I watched it all, man.
So the Black Mirror episode, really quick. 2 guys, they're friends for a long time. They played video games together. Okay, they bonded over this like street fighting video game. Then the video game gets an update where it's like you put this thing on your forehead and it immerses you into the game. You feel what the character feels. They're like every experience. Okay, you get punched in the face, you feel it. Okay, these guys are boys. They got a bromance. All right, one of them's married. Okay, I'm flying through this, but they go into this game. They're fighting. They're like, cool. Oh shit, I can feel punches. I wonder what else I can feel. They fucking bang.
One of them's a chick in the game, one of them's a guy in the game.
So in the game, it's not a gay interaction, but it's 2 dudes controlling them, and they're boys. All right? We're fucking boys, dude. Anyway,
they're both pounding fucking Vaj. They're both getting it
boys,
in.
Dude.
But they're not though because none of them are playing.
My question is, listen, I see this as a question of like basically, if you have a bromance with a dude, like it's an age-old question. It's like, oh, like I got this bromance. If I could be sexually attracted to you, like. We would be like boys, like my life would be complete. We'd be good. I think that's the question of the episode. Listen, is that episode gay? Are they gay? They kissed in real life to check it, and there was nothing. They were like, nah, this is weird in real life.
But one dude played a girl and felt the orgasm of his bro
penetration. penetration.
putting
Shoving
his
it in,
and so he had the
got
sensation of being
one guy
penetrated.
was definitely pitching, and one guy was definitely.
legit.
My first
Yeah.
reaction, this is verbatim what I said. The first, when they started fucking, this shit's gay. Word for word, man. Like, that's the way that
I was just like,
saw that.
here, it's not super consistent because the girl in the video game still acted like a girl, like she had girl mannerisms, like
Yeah, sure.
whatever.
But you know this dude sitting on the
But
couch
I'm-
like,
but I'm
oh
sitting-
yeah!
Exactly. I'm
Yeah,
s-
chill.
It's like,
I'm s- but yeah, I'm of the view. I don't think it's gay. I think it's like, wait.